At the height of my work addiction, I had no idea how to set boundaries. I had an overbearing boss and a voice in my head that was screaming at me that if I wasn't producing, I was a total failure. What I didn't know then, that I know now, is that I wasn't drained because I was doing too much. I was drained because I was doing too little of what aligned with my values. Authenticity, transparency, and well-being were all a beautifully branded poster on the wall, but far from the way things were done around there. When you feel like you're sucked dry, it's because your values are being violated. And when you feel like you're coming alive, it's because your values are in action. At work, values serve as a handshake between you and your organization on what you should expect from one another. But all too often, they're just a nice idea. Brené Brown's research shows us that 10% of organizations with defined values actually take the time to operationalize them. Fewer than 10%. That means if you choose to be a part of the minority, you're on track to outperform 90% of organizations. Research shows us that when you live your values, you have higher levels of productivity, engagement, retention, and yes, profit. I'll never forget when I came busting into my colleague's office, pissed, tears streaming down my face, because I had just gotten reprimanded for being transparent with my team. He said, "MaryBeth, I want you to imagine as if you came into this office for the first time and you noticed that the floor was uneven. So much so that people were getting hurt. And you finally got the courage to speak up about it. You went to HR and she said, 'Hon, it's no big deal. You just have to bend over a little bit. You'll get used to it. And on the parts that are real shaky, just tiptoe. You'll figure it out.'" He went on. He said, "MaryBeth, that's what's going on here right now. You are trying to fix the floor, but everybody else here is just perfectly fine and numb to the pain of it. They're fine with prolonging the suffering because it's a lot of work to break the foundation and build something completely new. But we need people who have the courage to speak up and aren't afraid of the consequences." You can go from being a culture killer to a culture keeper, from a values novice to a values expert. You can even go from a work addict to a work-life advocate. All it takes is making a different choice. A belief exists only as long as you say yes to it. As soon as you say no, a new possibility is born. And you are meant to go on a journey to know, own, and live your values, and to shed the values that were never yours but were programmed into you, and to own who you truly are, especially at work. When you do, your life, your team, and your business thrives. It all starts and ends with permission to be human.